This is Charleston's retirement coach, Brandon Bowen.
All right, so you brought up TDFs, target date funds. Let's dive into that because there's a lot to unpack just in this one investment space. And Morningstar actually took a look at where people are investing inside their 401ks, and they found, Brandon, last year, $4 trillion of our 401k dollars were invested in these TDFs, these target date funds. It's a record investment level. So the idea about TDFs is to pick a fund with a year that's near your goal retirement date. And according to Carrie Russell of Yahoo Finance, the fund, it does the rest.
But what I love about these and why they're so great for many investors is like when the markets go jangly, we don't sit there and worry because these are kind of balancing, diversifying your investments in a way that so you don't have to be panicking and you know that they're going to rebalance in order to keep you focused on what the goal is.
This all sounds great, Brandon. But,
Yeah.
I mean, I've heard a lot of mixed things about target date funds. Is that really how it works? What do we need to know?
Okay.
Yes
So
and no?
I know. I don't agree with her.
Okay.
Because it's just so vanilla.
Okay.
Okay.
Yeah.
Because what a target date fund is, let's say, if you might have, if you pick maybe the 2035, okay, 10 years from now. If maybe you're listening and you're like, I might retire in 10 years, then you pick the 2035. And so what it's going to be is it's going to have just this set percentage of of stocks, a set percentage of international stocks. Okay. And then a little bit of maybe some corporate and government bonds. And so as you get closer to 2035, then it systematically it kind of takes a little bit out of the stocks and adds more to the bonds. Okay.
Okay.
And a little bit more each year.
Yep.
A little bit more each year. So all it's doing is just trying to reduce your risk. Okay. So it's just trying to reduce your risk here a little bit as you close in. And so then when you get to that date of 2035, the goal is for it to be closer to maybe a 60-40 or a 50-50 model, something like that. Okay. Stocks and bonds. But my concern is that there's really no thought as far as like, okay, what sectors of the market are doing well. It's kind of like let's say, depending on my age, I might subscribe to a grocery service that's going to go get me my groceries every week. Okay. Because I'm 46 and a half right now. So what if it were then to bring me a pound of hamburger, a head of lettuce, one box of cereal, just a few things. But I'm like, well, what if I don't like that right there? And then as I get older, what if it's proactively giving me something for like older people or whatever? It's just like this bland, picking that it does for you.
It's also very broad, right? It's based on
very broad.
Like we always talk about, another thing we always say is don't take blanket advice. All the things we say, the talking heads on the media outlets. It's like that's a blanket statement. And what we do at Bowen Wealth is we create customized plans specific to each individual person. And
that's right.
TDFs, they're kind of blanket funds.
Because what if you were to come in and say, well, Brandon, I want this certain amount of income? Well, a target date fund, it doesn't care about that, right? Or if Brandon, I've got high income because I've got rental properties, I've got a business. So tax efficiency is my goal. So I want only long-term capital gains. Well, you're not going to get that in target date funds, right? So, or if I'm Brandon, I want to grow this. I've got a lot of money in Roth IRA status. I want to get all these. So my clients that I was talking about here in the earlier segment, remember they were in their early and mid 50s.
Right.
Okay. And I showed them, you've got 25% sitting in bonds. And they were like, no, I don't. And I was like, yes, you do. Like here's these target date funds. They've got those sitting in there, 25% in bonds. And I was like, let me show you what these bonds, government bonds have been doing here over the past 10 years. And that is like averaging just over 1% per year. And he goes, why would they do that? Well, yeah, he was like, well, how would they? Yeah, so why would they put? I was like, well, because think of someone who might be 70 years old or something. They want to have a little more stability. Yeah. And so he's like, well, that's not me. And I'm like, I know, right? So we were able to get him out of that stuff. So it's kind of bland. It's not really specific to what you want and what you deserve.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
And that is the drawback of most all 401ks. Okay.
Got it.
So if you've got your money at your workplace plan, Probably there's target date funds there, and that's just, it's really it's there for I guess the people who just want to do it, set it and forget it.
Yep.
Yep. And if you've saved $500,000 or more, and you're ready for thoughtful planning specific to you and your spouse and your age and stage, and what do you want this money to do, right? Because if you want it to start providing income, well, there are tremendous options for us to look at that are all income focused. Okay. There's things where you might go like, well, gosh, I didn't know I could have that much income from this portfolio, right? Because people, you listening, everybody's listening has all different amounts saved. So someone who has $500,000, someone who has 1.5 million, or $10 million, whatever, right? There's different goals, different things that you want this money to do. Okay.
Yep.
The other problem that I see all the time, my clients that I was talking about in the first segment, they were in 3 target date funds. Okay. They were in 2035, 2040, and 2045. And I was like, he goes, yeah, I did that because I just.
See how this doesn't make sense? Like, it doesn't make sense to be invested into 3 different funds.
No, because and after we finished, he goes, oh, I get it, because they're all holding the same stuff, just with different percentages. And I said, exactly.
Yeah.
Right. You're not diversified. Yeah. And then I showed him his correlation, and it just every fund he was in was all holding the same stuff. He had 10 different mutual funds thinking he was diversified, but it was all holding the same stuff. And I was like, so we need to get some more integrity here with this portfolio. Because what if there's a certain sector of the market that, think of it as a cancer or something, or a certain sector that we want to cut out, we want to avoid it for now. Well, you can't do that when you're in these broad overlapping funds. Okay.
Yep.
So we got to be much more thoughtful with how we diversify this portfolio. So if you want to have this second opinion, this is a portfolio review. Okay. A portfolio review is what you deserve. So if you've saved $500,000 or more and are age 50 or above, I want to provide this portfolio review for you right now. Pick up your phone. Our number is 843-890-2400. 843-890-2400. You can call that number, or you can text the word portfolio, and we'll know that you want to have this second opinion, this analysis on what you're holding, and see if there might be some potential moves that you can make for your benefit. 843-890-2400. We have 5 spots open right now, and I would love for you to take one of them right now.
We open up 5 spots on the calendar every week for radio listeners, because we know that there are so many people around Charleston that have worked so hard, and so many of us. I mean, a 401k, it's probably it's not the number. If it's not the number one, it's probably the most popular retirement saving tool.
It is number one. Yes,
it is. Okay,
for sure. Yeah.
So when it comes to 401ks, what frustrates me as a saver, as a person who's worked hard, is the lack of information available to us savers and investors about our 401ks. As you were saying, you were just working with this couple. It should be explained so clearly, and yet this hardworking investor was invested in 3 different TDFs because he had no idea what the setup actually was.
Right. So, and you also don't know the fees that are coming out of there, right? The costs behind that. You think, oh, they're doing me a solid. They're not overcharging me, so we need to analyze the fees of what you're paying.
Yeah.
And also, if you have an old 401k, right? Because
at a previous employer,
Yeah, a previous employer, you can roll that out. It is not stuck there. So if there's 3 ways you can get it out. If you've separated, retired, or turned 59 and a half.
Yep.
Okay, so if you're 59 and a half or over, and have this big 401k, you hold all the cards. You can roll this money out. I would still want you to keep contributing there, get the match. But with what you've already saved, you can roll this out and you can take control of your money.
Got it.
Okay?
Yep.
Yeah.
Which is obviously, that's the goal of all the work you do, Brandon. You are working to help people empower them with education and also take that power of their money, because you're the one that's done the hard work. You've worked, you've saved, you've sacrificed. You deserve to have as much control over your money as possible. And Brandon wants that for you. So again, that number to dial, 843-890-2400. Are you like so many Americans with a 401k, maybe not just one 401k, maybe several 401ks, and you're realizing you don't really know what's going on in those savings? Let's get to work helping you understand through this second opinion process.
Thanks for listening to Charleston's Retirement Coach Podcast with Brandon Bowen. To learn more, visit bowenwealth.com and join Brandon for his radio show, Charleston's Retirement Coach, Saturdays at 11 a.m. on 94.3 WSC.
Financial professionals are not licensed in all 50 states. To find out if J. Brandon Bowen is licensed in your state, please call 843-203-2030. J. Brandon Bowen is an investment advisor representative of Bowen Wealth, LLC, a registered investment advisor. Exposure to ideas and financial vehicles discussed should not be considered investment advice or recommendation to buy or sell any financial vehicle. Past performance is not a guarantee of future results. Investments can fluctuate and when redeemed may be worth more or less than when originally invested. J. Brandon Bowen is not affiliated with nor endorsed by the Social Security Administration or any other government agency and does not provide legal or tax advice. Annuity guarantees rely solely on the financial strength and claims paying ability of the issuing insurance company. By contacting us, you may be provided with information about insurance and annuity products offered through Bowen Wealth, LLC, insurance licensed in South Carolina. Market Guard is a registered investment advisor with the SEC and provides model portfolios only to Impact Partnership Wealth. Market Guard makes no implied warranties or representations and is not liable for any data presented.